Steve. So much information. Go ahead, wherever you want to finish us out at here. We've got about
look, here's what I'm going to send my notes, okay? So I talked to a man, and he was one of the guys that was being trained, okay? And he was in Afghanistan, and they all knew the stories of the giants being shot, but he told me some things I didn't know, okay? And I didn't because obviously he and L.A. met and talked, but here's the thing that's interesting. I asked him about what was the most difficult stuff for you to grasp? He said when they were training in an old Army base underground in the Nevada desert, I would bet that underground base in the desert would be connected or was connected in the past to the famous Lovelock Giants, Lovelock, Nevada. And he was told that they were to always shoot higher. And here's what was interesting. He made the statement that they were being trained to be able to bivouac on the side of a mountain looking for cave entrances. Now, bivouacking, you've probably seen technical climbers. They'll piton and carabiner onto the pitons and kind of live on a horizontal shelf, and then they climb up from that, and that's something totally unusual for the military. And he said that the guys who went in, he was not on the shooters team, but he talked to the shooters team, said that the mental pressure emanating from the giants was the same as reported by different people in Bigfoot cases, okay? I'm not saying big feet on the giants are of the same genotype, but it's interesting. They're electromagnetic radiation from their brain waves was something they could literally feel. Well, you've heard me on your show talk about, the red line in Dulce, New Mexico, the alien war, the giants that broke loose, killed all the scientists, the same thing in the caves of, Nepal. And the other thing that was really interesting to me is I said, did they ever talk to you about having to behead the giants? He said, no, Steve, but he told us this. He told us that when they were being trained, okay, he said what do you call them? Instructors are saying you must absolutely destroy the head totally in totality. And they were using M240Bs, which is a 308 belt-fed full automatic, and then they were using grenade launchers, okay? So 223s, by the way, on giants are nothing. They won't work. People say, what about 12-gauge shotgun slugs? The general that told me this stuff in the beginning said you want to use the heaviest caliber, solid copper. And I think the solid copper slugs, rifled slugs, are up to 650 grains. That's a good weapon, especially if you've got a 9-shot Benelli or something, or any type of shotgun that can chamber 3-inch rounds. And the idea is mass, and it's the density of the copper. So I asked him that, and that's something else I didn't know, because, you get bits and pieces of this. So people are always saying, what the number one question I get on giants is, Doug, by the people who get it? How do you kill them? I promise you that's...
That's important to know.
Yeah, that is important to know. And so, I thought that was interesting. The other thing that was interesting is that it seemed like the giants, whatever their technology was, the place to look for those things was on the sides of the mountains. I'm talking about sheer vertical cliffs, okay? And so they weren't too thrilled about that. But they were trained in the caves in Nevada, and they were trained to destroy the head of the giants. So that's why people ask why David cut off Goliath's head, because even the Green Man, if people want to look at this in the history of mythology, the Green Man, obviously some people think it's Satan, some people, they attribute different names to him, but he would allow someone to cut his head off, and then he in turn, this was a myth, would cut their head off. But what they didn't understand is that he could call his head back. I think Sean Connery was in a movie like that. I forget the name of it. So what I'm saying is this, is that now at this point in history, ladies and gentlemen, the giants are here. They're not just coming back. Somebody says, well, I won't believe it until I see it. Well, hopefully you don't see the one with the salt and pepper and looking longingly at you. You know, by the way, you'll fit in the palm of his hand and squish your mush. So the thing that we're doing, Doug, is trying to, as capable as we can be under the direction of the living God, get people prepared for this stuff so they turn to Jesus now and start seeking him to get their filth, get the filth out of their life and their faith built up, okay? That's what I'm trying to say, filth and faith. And so that the idea is that when time comes that you'll have an applicable, a practical, and a faith that really operates. The best way to gain that is through prayer and intercession now. If you know what to pray about now, God's specific. You ask him for the faith, the power and the strength to deal with this stuff, he'll give it to you. Rather than assuming, like La La Land lady, I'll just sing love, 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 and I said it didn't work for the Beatles, it won't work for you, and I did say that, by the way. So the thing is that we're now at a period of time where the invisible has become visible. Nightmarish creatures are now on the scene. Genetic monsters are made and coming loose. You saw that the mammoths are going to be reanimated. Let me share this. Whatever they tell you they're going to do, they already have done. That's the golden rule in genetic engineering.